In this video, I'm going to talk about 20 of the most popular ways to market for new clients as a real estate agent. I'll go through each marketing strategy, discuss it briefly, and then comment whether or not I think it's worth it or a waste of your time or money. Now, what inspired me to make this video is a text message that I received last weekend, and this agent asked me, "What's your recommendation for the best way to get new listings?" That's it. That was the entire question, which is very difficult to answer on a text thread because there are so many factors involved, so many variables, and there isn't one single right answer because so much depends on your marketing budget, who your target demographic is, where you're located, etc. So I thought, why not just make a video discussing 20 of the most popular ways to get listings, or even buyers for that matter, because I can go a little bit more in depth here. So I'll start with direct mail as number one. Now, direct mail is old school. It's been around forever, but let me tell you that it works, and it still works to this day. If you have professional mailers and you send them on a regular and consistent basis, and I want to emphasize consistent, you will get leads that can convert into clients. This strategy worked 20 years ago, and it works now. I know that shipping isn't cheap, so this isn't a low-cost strategy. But if you can afford the postage rates, this should absolutely be part of your marketing plan. Number two, networking. Now, I know networking as a term is quite vague, but I want to specify because the most consistently busy agents that I've met over the years follow a system that I articulate in three parts as, number one, meet as many people as possible. And it doesn't necessarily mean face-to-face or shaking hands. It can be the direct mail we just talked about. But basically, someone that you didn't know before discovers that you now exist. That is what I consider meeting people. Then, number two, let those people know that you sell real estate, that you're a licensed real estate agent. And then finally, number three, that you want this person as a client. And all three of these things need to happen together. People need to discover you. They need to know that you are actively selling real estate. And finally, that you want and expect them as a client. Now, how you meet people depends a lot on your lifestyle and your comfort level, but it'll tie into the other strategies that I'm going to mention. Number three, host open houses. Traditionally, hosting an open house has been a strategy to meet buyers. And while I think it's likely you'll get a buyer client out of hosting an open house, I've also known many agents that have met locals in the neighborhood at their open house, built the relationship, and ultimately listed a neighbor's house for sale. Hosting open houses doesn't cost anything but your time, so it's a low cost and effective strategy to meet people and get leads that could convert into clients. So I think open houses are worthwhile for lead generation. Number four is actively engage on social media platforms. Have you heard of Nextdoor, or are you a member of a local Facebook group? And when I say local, I mean pertaining to the neighborhood or area rather than just an interest or hobby. If you're actively participating, create a profile that describes yourself as a real estate agent and then engage people. Offer helpful advice. Offer a phone number of a tradesman when someone asks for a recommendation. Make suggestions. Compliment people on their gardening. Compliment people on their accomplishments. But don't talk about real estate directly because then you just look like a grubby solicitor. If you're kind and helpful, people will be curious who you are. Then they'll look at your profile and realize that you're a real estate agent, and they'll make that connection between how helpful you are and the real estate service that you offer. So if you aren't actively participating, then I would recommend it as it's free marketing. Number five, create as many online professional profiles as possible. This means make a Google business page for your real estate business, a Yelp profile, a Zillow profile, a Realtor.com profile, a Facebook page, but basically take advantage of every form that will allow you to publish your professional profile online. Now, do I think this alone is going to bring you leads? It's not likely to be the sole source of leads, but it will work in tandem to help you generate leads, and it's free, so it's worth doing. And if truly optimized, it can create leads. Refer to my Yelp video as an example. Number six, start or moderate a Facebook group. I met one of the top agents in the country at a NAR Expo, and I was talking to her about what she does for marketing. And she moderates multiple Facebook groups not related to real estate, but these are hobby groups. But just by the nature of moderating, she meets members of these groups, and these are people that share a common interest or hobby with her. And then she makes new relationships, which fits into networking and produces more clients. Number seven is calling for sale by owners. This is actually how I got my first listing. I used to buy lists of for sale by owners, and I used to cold call them. And then I got my first listing back in 2003 in Pacific Beach. Thousands of transactions and 21 years later, I can tell you that I do not recommend calling for sale by owners. It's a lot of work for little, if any, return, and even when you do convert them, you're banging your head against the wall because they're some of the worst clients. So no, I do not recommend cold calling for sale by owners. Number 8, calling canceled or expired listings. I know agents out there still do this, and I credit that to a lack of creativity or thought when it comes to marketing. I'm against calling canceled or expired listings because I think it's, again, a lot of work for very little reward and an unreliable way to build a long-term scalable business. Which brings me to number 9, which is cold calling in general. Up until 2008, cold calling was always an integral part of my marketing. However, I would never recommend cold calling for real estate clients this day and age. I know wholesalers and investors do cold calling, and that's a totally different conversation. I'm referring exclusively to real estate agents looking for listings. Cold calling is an absolute grind. And while doing it enough will ultimately result in a client, in terms of it being a long-term and sustainable business practice that doesn't drive you to the brink of madness is highly unlikely, and therefore I do not advocate for cold calling in general. Number 10, door knocking. I know some agents door knock, and I think that it's a very dated method that has been supplanted by the digital age. It's also a very inefficient use of time that could otherwise be leveraged in other places. So no, I'm against door knocking. I think it annoys and disturbs people, which will anger some of the homeowners. Number 11, digital ads. Digital ads or pay-per-click or Google ads is expensive and a lot of work to do properly, and is unlikely to produce real estate leads that warrant the time and money spent. So I would not advocate to do any paid advertising with digital ads. Number 12, sponsor local events. I've seen real estate agents sponsor advertising at sports parks, sponsor events that take place at a school, and while I think that particular sponsorship won't directly result in getting a client in most cases, it's still good for building a brand and working in conjunction with other marketing efforts like direct mail. Number 13, sponsor garage sales. If you offer free garage sale signs with your branding so that locals can contact you to borrow those signs to host their own garage sale, then not only will you get name recognition off the sponsored garage sale signs, but also you get a chance to get in front of a homeowner and build a relationship. So I think this is actually a great idea. Number 14, blogging. I think that you should write very targeted articles on your website, effectively blogging, but they should be as specific as mentioning local HOA information or local neighborhood information, and that's it. Because if your content isn't extremely targeted, then your website and blog content will have no chance whatsoever of ever being discovered online. Number 15, start a YouTube channel. I think starting a YouTube channel should absolutely 100% be on the checklist of any and every agent, and that the YouTube channel should be themed for your target demographic, and then regularly and consistently post content on your YouTube channel. Don't worry about subscriber count and don't get too hung up on view count. Even if you only have 10 views, all it takes is one person find your YouTube videos and become a client. And I've seen it happen on very low volume YouTube accounts. Plus, it's free to create a YouTube channel, so I highly recommend it. Number 16, lender relationships. Of course, if you can find a lender that's willing to send you buyers that are pre-qualified, then that relationship will be very valuable. Many lenders will expect to have a relationship in which you send them your buyers that need to be pre-qualified, and then they'll send you pre-qualified clients that have yet to find an agent. If you can foster that relationship, it's very valuable, but it takes time and a lot of work. Number 17, attorney relationships. A relationship with an attorney is much less common than with a lender, but if your niche is something like probate, then you'll definitely want to meet as many probate attorneys as possible. Number 18, advertise on the radio. I hear real estate agents advertising on the radio, and I think it is a waste of time and a waste of money. That's it. Number 19, advertise on your vehicle. Put yourself in the mind of a buyer or seller. Are they going to call you off the magnet on your car door? There's no tax benefit either to putting your branding on your vehicle, and it looks tacky, so don't bother. And finally, number 20, buying leads. Almost all real estate leads that can be purchased are garbage. I've heard of cases of people that spend a lot of money on Zillow and they get deals out of it. So That might be a higher barrier of entry commitment that's possibly worth testing if you have the money to do it. But generally speaking, don't waste your money buying leads. And that's it. That's 20 of the most popular ways to get clients and my personal opinion on them. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching.